Hello, fun seekers. It is January 6th, 2016 already, and it is 14 minutes past the hour of 8 o'clock. Hope everybody's having a good New Year so far, now that it is in full swing. This video is a little bit different than um, my other videos. If you have found me through my paranormal channel, you might want to skip this one. This one was made for a very specific purpose, and it covers the flat Earth theory. Um, in 1956, a guy by the name of Samuel Shenton he was a songwriter by trade. He had no um, scientific background whatsoever. Started the Flat Earth Society, the modern Flat Earth Society, and he had a small following for a period of time. He went around, he did some debates, he spoke with some of the intellectuals of the time, and he never had it never came to fruition, obviously, for reasons that I'm sure you understand. And it fell into obscurity. Shortly after that, America aspired to put people on the moon. We put satellites into space. We made just incredible scientific and technological contributions to the world and improved lifestyle. We improved the standard of living for humanity tremendously. And then something happened, and I'm going to blame this one on the internet. There has been a resurgence in the flat earth theory. At the same time, we are seeing science and math test scores in America plummet. Academically, we are failing. And I believe it is these shortcomings, these educational shortcomings of America, that are allowing theories like this to resurface. And the internet, I saw this comment, this is not my comment, I saw it in a channel recently that the advent of the internet allows wackos to find each other, basically. And I believe that's what's also taking place. I believe there's always been fringe thinkers, there's always been people that think crazy stuff. But the internet, it makes it a lot easier for them to get together and reinforce each other's ideas. So I've watched all the videos on the flat earth. They all basically regurgitate the same information. And that's easy to understand. It's because these guys think that watching YouTube videos is doing research. So I argue with them in the comments periodically, and it never goes anywhere. Their argument, no matter what I present them with, their argument is that I've been brainwashed by the Big Brother or IRS or Ma Bell or whoever their personal favorite boogeyman is. They believe they've brainwashed me, and that's fine. In response to that, I have created this video. Now, what this video is going to attempt to do is to demonstrate to them ways in which they can use their own intellect and their own ability to gather data and perform analysis on the data they gathered. This is how research is done, not by watching YouTube videos. So I will present a case using some of their points, demonstrating that the world we live on is in fact a globe. There's another point, not another point, there's another aspect of this video that I will cover shortly, and I'll touch on it right now. This same group of people that believe the earth is flat, almost 201, believes that we never went to the moon and that the International Space Station does not exist, or that the International Space Station is not where NASA tells us it is. So I touch on it briefly. I show them a way in which they themselves can go out and calculate exactly how far away from Earth the International Space Station is. Now, I did this for two reasons. One, it's a good exercise in math and triangulation, but two, it's a challenge to them. If you are listening to this and if you believe that the International Space Station is not where NASA says it is, then this is a challenge to you. Learn to do the math, learn how to triangulate, go out, collect your own data, triangulate the position of the International Space Station, and then come back here and rub our noses in it. Because if you have the courage of your convictions, if you really believe this, then this is the opportunity for you to blow us out of the water. Now, I'm sure you're going to have 1,000 excuses of why you won't do it, starting with we won't believe you, or that the math that was created was skewed in the favor of Big Brother, or some other nonsense. The bottom line is you're afraid. And I get it. I mean, this is actually going to destroy the foundation of your belief system. And I would suggest you to have courage, because there's a great big wonderful world out there waiting for you once you open your mind to the possibility that math and science can work for you. You know, it's like reading a book. It's once you start reading, you have such a tremendous advantage over those who do not read. Well, once you learn how to perform math and data analysis, you have such a tremendous advantage. And it's not even about having an advantage. It's just the it will improve the quality of your life very, significantly. It's worth doing it for that alone. So we'll cover that a little bit more when we get to that. I hope to make this a brief video. I don't want to go on and on and on. I'm just going to hit some topics very quickly. This is for those people who believe that the world is flat to go out and perform their own data analysis and figure this out on their own. Don't listen to me. Don't believe anything I say. Go out and verify all of this yourself. Do not take anybody's word on this. You can do this all by yourself. Okay, and like all other videos, we start off. It's okay to be a retard. It's not okay to go full retard, ever. All right, the round earth. Let's do a quick crash course on this and how you can. This is the simplest way. This is really, we could. I'm going to cover more topics than this and more proofs, but in all reality, this is the nail in the coffin. This is the quick and dirty one that you can't get away from or get around. In the summer, or in the sky, anywhere you live in the northern hemisphere, in the sky, there is a star at dead north that is called Polaris, and they call it the North Star, but its official term is Polaris. All the stars appear to rotate around Polaris. Polaris never moves in the night sky, except for, depending on where you are, north and south on the globe, it gets closer or further away from the horizon. If you are, let's say you are at the North Pole, Polaris will be directly overhead. Let's say you are in Florida, and I have seen this, I spent a lot of time in Florida. Let's say you are in Florida. There we are. Let's say you're in Florida, in Key West. Polaris will be very close to the horizon. Once you get past the equator, Polaris disappears completely, and a whole new set of constellations show up. Now, if you are using the flat Earth model, this is the North Pole. Directly above the North Pole is Polaris. That's my poorly drawn Polaris, incidentally. This would be roughly the equator. I'll turn this into a line in just a second, guys. Give me a second here. This is the equator. Demonstrate a way in which Polaris is viewable from anywhere inside of here, but nowhere out here. What is your model for that? If you believe in the flat Earth, and this is your flat Earth we're looking at right here, this is your equator, you have to come up with a model to demonstrate this. And you can't say, I'm lying, because you can verify this. You can go out, take a measurement from the North Star to the horizon, drive 2 hours south, take another measurement from the North Star to the horizon, and you will see that the North Star has gotten closer to the horizon. So, what are the options we have here? One, you can say that we're lying and making this up. Well, you don't get that caveat anymore, because now you can verify it yourself. You have to have the courage to do this, but you can verify this yourself. Secondly, the most reasonable one is we live on a globe, and that's why the North Star appears to move in relation to the horizon. What you can't do is look at this model and come up with a way to describe North Pole being visible, the North Star being visible from here, but not visible from here. So as far as I'm concerned, that's the nail on the coffin right there. But let's go on, because I'm sure somebody's going to say something crazy about this. Triangulation. This is what I was talking about earlier. Let's pretend this is the International Space Station. Bam, now it's the International Space Station. The International Space Station is rotating the Earth. It's up there in the sky. You want to know where it is. Well, you put either one of your retards at either one of these places. Actually, put a retard at both places. You now know your distance and your position from each other, and you can measure the angle from where you are. Based upon that, you can fill in the data, and you can triangulate the distance from the International Space Station to the Earth. It's going to take, I mean, this is a very simplified overview of it, but that's basically what you're doing. And you can now go learn how to do the math, triangulate the position of the International Space Station, and let me tell you what you're going to find out. You're going to find out it is exactly where NASA tells you it is. And again, this is exactly like the round Earth thing. You get back to my International Space Station. You no longer have any more excuses. Your only excuse at this point is, I'm afraid. The math is difficult, but it's not that difficult. They hide this information in books. Go to the library, get a book, check it out, learn how to do triangulation. You will find out where the International Space Station is. Now, does this prove that the world is round? Absolutely not. What it does prove is that you're wrong. And if you're wrong about this, you could be wrong about other things. And there is no shame in being wrong. There's that is the single most important aspect of the discovery of science, is being wrong. The falsification of a theory is a beautiful thing, because then you can go on and you can find the actual truth. Never be afraid to be wrong. That's how progress is made. So, what's your excuse of why you won't do this? Leave it in your comment section. Tell me why you will not go out and calculate where the International Space Station is. Also, in the comment section, tell me why you will not go out and determine the height of Polaris from the horizon, because you're going to have a reason why you don't do it, and I'm just curious what it'll be. Okay. Bimini. Now, when I was younger and I lived in Florida, I did a lot of sailing, and I miss it tremendously. But one of the great milk runs, one of the beautiful day sails, is leaving out of Key Biscayne, Miami. This is the intercoastal waterway right here. Leaving out of Miami, going through Key Biscayne, heading dead east, and you run right into Bimini. This is Bimini. It's it's the nearest of the Bohemian Islands to the United States. It is 44 nautical miles, which means it's about 48 miles. Now, why is that important to us? It's important to us is because when you're standing on the beach here at Miami, you know what you can't see? You can't see Bimini. The reason you can't see Bimini is because the curvature of the Earth puts it below the horizon. Now, you may be saying, in this one, you might have a verifiable. Well, I don't live in Florida. I can't go verify. I can't do that. You could be making this up, and you're absolutely right. I could be making this up. That Bimini could be in plain view to anybody standing along the coast, and quite simply, I am lying to you to keep you from finding out the truth. But I bet you got a telephone. Call these people. I mean, yeah, I'm sure 3 or 4 of them are going to hang up on you. You could call the Florida Coast Guard. You could call the the Miami Police Department, Water Division, our Marine Division, I'm sorry. You could call any number of people. There's a state right here. I'm trying to remember the name of it. There's a national park right here. Get a hold of one of those guys. It's only about 46 nautical miles from here to here. They should be able to see it easily since they're way out here on the water. Call them up, say, hey, can you see Bimini from where you are? Call anybody along here. Ask anybody, can you see Bimini from where you are? And you'll find out they can't. Now, I'll cut you some slack on this because cold calling people to ask them crazy questions is difficult to do. But you can do a little research. You can go on the internet, say, can I see Bimini from Miami? Just type it into Google. Now, of course, I know Google is run by the giants of the world who want to keep the information from you. But you know as well as I do in your heart of hearts, the reason you can't see Bimini is because it's over the horizon. Now, you can give me the excuse that you don't want to make the phone calls, but you and I both know what's going on there. Okay, final one, and this one's a little more complicated, and I'm going to try to do the best I can to describe it. The moon. In the southern hemisphere, the moon appears upside down in relation to how we see it. And again, going back to our model, let's pretend for a second this is the moon. It's actually the sun, but let's pretend it's the moon for a second. People that live here, it looks one way. People that live here, it looks upside down. Now, there's something very magical about the equator in the Flat Earth Society because it does some really crazy stuff, man. It makes the moon flip upside down, does all kinds of stuff. So once you cross over the equator, bam, this flips upside down. Not really sure how that happens. Now, when I've asked this question before, somebody said, well, take a picture. This is Mila Jovovich, incidentally, my girlfriend, whom I've seen naked. No, I have not seen Mila. Well, yeah, I guess I did see her naked. She did that one scene, and never mind. Anyway, what they've always said to me when I brought this upside down moon thing to them, they said, well, take a picture, put it on the ceiling, look at it, walk across the room, look at it again, and you'll notice it's upside down. Now, that's completely different from this, but I see the point they're getting at. Now, here's the problem. Even in the flat Earth model, the moon travels. The moon goes around and around and around. It's in constant motion. And if I'm on this part, let's say I'm in Oklahoma and the moon is here, and you're in Colombia and the moon is here. Why is it upside down all of a sudden? Well, it's because it's at an angle in much the same way that this doesn't look upside down to either one of these guys because it's at an angle, it's not directly overhead. So, this isn't the best way to describe it. The point is, this is an imaginary line. This equator is an imaginary line. It does nothing special to our moon to make it appear upside down. And again, this is our Polaris. There's no way that this appears closer to this and disappears on this side. Why would this North Star disappear when you get on this side of this imaginary line? It doesn't make any sense unless you live on around Earth. Now it makes total sense. Now you can look at it and go, oh yeah, from here it's low, from here it's high, from here it disappears completely. I can't even see it. There's no way that works here. So, bottom line is, these are all things you can verify yourself, with the exception of the Bimini one. I can see where you would be nervous about calling people and asking them if they can see Bimini because it's crazy. Of course they can't see Bimini. But it's only 44 miles. 44 miles on a clear day is nothing. And they should be able to see it anytime. But they don't. And even if you don't want to do that one, you can still do this one where you drive south and watch how the North Star gets closer to the horizon. Really, do it. Have the courage of your convictions. The world it's a big world and it's waiting on you. All you have to do is take a step outside of your little box. Same thing here. You know, there's the moon. Why does the moon flip upside down when I get on the other side of this line? What is magical about this spot right here? Incidentally, I just want to bring this up in the flat Earth. In the flat Earth model, the sun has a mysterious spotlight ability, which is obviously patently false. You can see that yourself when you go outside and look at it in the sky. Don't ever look directly at the sun. I hope I don't need to say that, but I'm going to. Don't ever look directly at the sun. But in the Flat Earth Society or the Flat Earth model, it has to have this spotlight effect. Even if it has a spotlight effect, why couldn't you see it? You should be able to see the sun. You know, this is a straight line, and I'll draw it just to demonstrate. If it's nighttime in Colombia, it's a straight line from Colombia to the sun. I should easily be able to see the sun, even if it has a spotlight ability and I'm in the dark. Even more so in the dark, I should be able to see it. Where does it go? Why can't I see it? You need to have a model for that. You need to be able to explain this. If this is your model, if the flat Earth is your model, you need to be able to explain this. You're more than welcome to leave it in the comments section what your model is for making the sun go away. your model for making the North Star go away when you get on the other side of this ring. Your model for the moon appearing upside down on this side of the ring, but not on this side of the ring, which that ring is called the equator. So you have to have an if this is your model, and that's fine, you need to have an explanation for these. And again, the world's a big place. It's waiting on you. You can perform any of these experiments yourself. Don't believe me for a second. Go out and verify this data on your own. All right, that's it. I'm going to wrap this up. I've already got too much time and energy put into a topic that is not worthy of this much time or energy. Would love to know your comments down in the section below. Keep them civil or don't. My ego isn't attached to what you think of me, so I don't really care one way or the other. And we will catch up with you guys soon. Take care.